Hi.
Hi.
How are things in LA right now, Sarah?
Things are kind of, it's a little cold, it's raining, it's quiet. There's not many people in town that I know. So yeah, it's nice though.
Yeah, well, let's get right into it. We have a couple of sets of questions for you. For everybody who is here in the chat, episode 59 featuring Sarah is live right now. The link is here in the chat. And you can find it all over our social media and everywhere podcasts can be downloaded. But we have a few questions for you in a couple different categories. The first one is Instagram, obviously. So let's just talk a little bit about that for a second. You challenge the Instagram standard by creating images that look like film that have since become a signature of yours here on Instagram. So it would be great if you could go into detail about that. Like how that morphed and how that,
Yeah, I mean, in terms of putting subtitles on my art, that's something that I was inspired by many years ago. When I was on Tumblr as like a very young adult, I would save like all the screenshots from French films that I loved, and I found it really captivating that one screenshot from the film could give me so many emotions, and so I wanted to challenge the Instagram platform way, and instead of it coming from film, creating a body of photographs that appeared like they were film, and attaching my blog to those moments. And
yeah,
I would release them kind of one by one, but and individually you would be able to, but each piece meant based on your experiences, but when you brought like the book together, it was my story. So
right. Yeah. And how many have you created to date, would you say?
I've done 10 subtitle now, I think. I have to double check that, but around 10.
And we actually have a question about this, but I'm curious. Do you plan to continue these, or is there a plan to kind of move on from them, or do you not really thinking about it that that much?
I always say like this one's gonna be my last one, but then I get hit with like inspiration.
That's so interesting.
That's interesting. The only outlet for me right now that makes sense to help me tell my story. So it really just it just depends on how I'm feeling. I want to say I want to wrap it up soon, but I know I have a few more stories I need to through this.
I think your video is freezing a little bit, Sarah.
Oh.
Let's see. And the sound was going in and out a bit.
Okay, how about now?
But let's just check that. I mean, we'll see.
How about now?
I don't know. That seems better to me.
Okay, I think I just have to hold it. So
that's unfortunate.
Yeah. It's okay.
So you keep saying that it's your last one, and then you keep wanting to add.
I keep creating them. So the last one I did was which is a series that featured me, and that was going to be like, okay, this is the last one. I'm finally in it. I've never done this before, so now I'm just like, how can I top that? And I think like the only way I could top it is if I have someone like Timothy Chalamet or something. So
right.
Yeah, so we're aiming for that. So
yeah, that's a good goal.
Yeah.
Manny is asking this question, which I thought was very interesting. What are the ways that Instagram might have been a thorn in your side in the past and over the years? Have you had any issues with posting or DMs or anything Instagram related?
I mean, yeah, Instagram, as much as it's an incredible tool, it's also a very toxic place. And I feel like one thing that I've really struggled with is not letting people's opinions like alter what I do next. And, everyone's like, what I've learned, actually, the biggest thing that I've learned from this is that you can't please everyone, and you shouldn't focus on pleasing anyone. You should just focus on like telling your story and creating art that's authentic to you. And so something that used to get under my skin a lot is when people would tell me like who I should shoot, what I should shoot, what stories I should tell. And I honestly like, it would piss me off so much that I wouldn't want to create art. And I had to kind of pass that point and just be like, you know what, fuck you. I'm going to keep telling my story. I don't want people dictating like what stories I should be telling, because if I ever listened to that, then I wouldn't be creating authentic art. And what's important to me is telling my story. And it's so selfish, but like it's the only way I can heal, and by releasing it to the world, like I feel like I help others do the same. So
Yeah, there's sort of, I mean, clearly there's this culture of opinion, and I sometimes I think that that's just like sort of an almost like a natural reaction for people when they see something. It makes them sort of want to offer up opinions and solutions. It's almost like a part of a way of reacting to things that I think, yeah, can be not great for the artist or the creator. Another question kind of along the same lines is from India. I'm curious to see how you would describe your relationship with social media.
It's changed dramatically this year. It used to just be a tool for me. I would go on post. I would never like lurk accounts or spend time like in the feed or whatever. But in quarantine, I took 2 months where I completely deactivated it because I was spending too much time on the platform. And I literally disappeared from Instagram for 2 months just to like recenter and focus on my mental health. And honestly, I might do the same like in the next few days. But yeah, right now it's a little toxic place for me. I don't necessarily like it. I definitely need to take a step back and kind of just recenter again and focus on myself and my goals and like my planning and my manifesting for next year. So
Yeah. I think it's good to do a detox every so often with that kind of thing. Renee is asking, which Instagram accounts do you follow? One, for inspiration, and two, do you follow any that to uplift you?
Do I follow any inspirational accounts? Gosh, I'd actually look at who I follow. No one like off the top of my head comes to mind. Like I love following like.
I mean, I guess that begs sort of a bigger question, which is, do you follow accounts for more for inspiration or more to uplift and to find something positive?
I guess I follow accounts that I just vibe with. I can't say I actively look for inspiration. That's not something that I like do, but
yeah,
yeah, just anyone like many people, because I feel like the more you follow, the more you spend on Instagram, and I really don't want to be on this app that much.
Yeah. We had a question about your culture that I thought was very interesting.
Yeah.
What's on your mind regarding your culture these days? And what are you contemplating in terms of that?
What's on my mind regarding my culture? Actually, this one's kind of, my mom saw my Instagram for the first time at Christmas.
That's wow, Sarah. That's a big moment. There was a lot. I mean, think about how much there actually, you've been on Instagram for a while now. There's a lot for her to pour over and for her to see,
Yeah. Honestly, it's not good. It's made me like gravitate towards my purpose again. My mom's really upset with me right now. She's kind of not. She's half talking to me. Just to make.
Oh wow, Sarah, you're kind of going in and out. Can you give that a hold again?
Yeah.
So you were saying that your mother saw your Instagram for the first time, and why? First of all, why is that? Why now? How did that happen?
I guess like she was with family at Christmas, and something inspired her to create a new account because she realized she was blocked from like all my siblings, and so yeah, she went on. She created I want to say another Finsta, and she started following me, and she immediately calls me, and she's mortified, and for the content that I post and for the stories that I tell, it's definitely against our culture and my mom's beliefs and the way I was raised, and that's the entire purpose of the series Ebb. Like, it was to undo the shame and guilt I had around my upbringing, and
right.
I really wanted to liberate myself and my sexuality, and just like embrace my desires and totally own them as my own without having to worry about like what my parents think. And so and I told like all my family, just make sure Mom never sees my Instagram because I know it will crush her. And it's something that I spoke about in my Forbes interview and like when I was releasing this series. And so I always anticipated that there will be a day that she does see it and it's not going to be a good day. And it just happened to be Christmas, which really sucks. But I think she'll get over it. I really hope so. I just kept saying to her on the phone, I was like, Mom, I never expected you to understand. So I don't there's nothing I can say to you to help you understand because I know you're not going to listen. So like when you don't feel so emotional about this, let's get back on the phone and I'll do my best to explain myself. And it just, that's the best I could do. But right now I'm avoiding that because I know she's still angry. So
yeah, no, I mean, it's a lot for her to take in,
yeah.
because Instagram for you is it's a place where it's a place where you're entirely yourself and you share a lot, and that must have been it's just a lot for her to take in. So where do you think it will go with her?
It's not going to go far. I think it's going to just be us practicing the boundaries that I set up a few years ago for us, which is like, Mom, we agreed to not talk about it. Let's just agree to disagree. And like, let's just never address my art. And I'll keep saying it to her because I love my mother so much. She's the most important woman in my life. And like, I really do want our relationship to stay strong, and I really do want her to trust me, and I want to be able to protect her. And so, yeah, we'll see.
We got a question from somebody just now, which was, how do you stay true to yourself? I mean, that's a big question for you. I mean, I think for you that's pretty effortless, or no?
How do I stay true to myself? I think it's setting up a space and an environment where you're surrounded by energy that honors, adores, respects, and worships you the way you are. So like if you're compromising yourself for the needs of other people and prioritizing their needs before your own, you're going to lose yourself. And so it's so important to just like, I guess, maintain that strong focus on self and what makes you happy and what elevates you and who are the people that help you expand, and kind of just
right. And I would think also too, what are the choices that you're making, when to say no and when to say yes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Regarding your art, Dan asked if there are any new mediums that you're exploring right now or that interest you.
I mean, I am dying to finish a script I'm working on. I really want to move into film, but like proper, like make a fucking movie, you know?
Right. Yeah, we actually have I'm going to jump to another question because we got a question about that. Actually from Keisha, which is the next question. It just led right into the next question. Do you write scripts or use storyboards for your directing projects? I would love to know what your process is like.
So with script writing is something I'm not like amazing at it because it's not my field, it's not my practice. What I'm good at is telling stories, and I'm learning new executions every day, including script writing. But with my photo series, so I just like write in my journal and in my notes app on my phone. I really just like when I'm in a state of like allowing myself permission to just like feel what I'm feeling, and like really like if like anger comes to visit me, or sadness or grief or betrayal or whatever, I really just like allow myself to sit with those feelings, and as they come, I just write in my notes. I write these one-liners, like exactly how I'm feeling, the things that I wish I said to the person who might have triggered me, or something I wish I had said to myself. And I just like write. And I do this over a period of like 3 to 6 months. And then when I'm ready and I find someone who I believe connects with the story, then I'll go and do the photo shoot. And then once I've done the photo shoot, I print out like a short list, and I begin to storyboard. So I like move this little scripts around, and like the quotes and then the photos, and then I kind of just formulate a story, and then I take it into post-production. So it's a process, but it's been a consistent process throughout the 10 series that I've written. So
yeah, and actually again leads me into another question from Hillary, which was, how long does it usually take for you to set up an actual shot for your work, and what do you use to take pictures?
I mean, I pre-plan everything. So every set you've seen, like I've envisioned it beforehand. And so, I fund all these series myself, and usually we have a very, very limited time on location just because I usually can't afford more than like a couple of hours. And so when I rent out these extravagant mansions, they cost like Sorry.
Sarah, I think people are getting like kicked out, and I don't know of the comments where I'm getting a message that that there's like a bat. Yeah.
Okay. I'm on like my Wi-Fi is like on high.
That's perfect. I think that's perfect. That works. So you
Okay.
were saying mansions.
Yeah, so like when I find these locations, they're very expensive to rent. So I usually only have them for a limited amount of hours. So I have to make sure I'm fully prepared, like coming in. And so like when you see these like setups, like I've pre-imagined them, I've organized all the props beforehand to make sure that I can quickly run in with an assistant, set it up, and then like have everything ready prior to us actually starting the shoot. So we usually do that when like the talent's in glam and styling. And so like while they're doing that, I'm running around setting up all these shots and all the props and, you know, the art department and whatever. And all of the series that I've ever done, we shot them within 3 to 5 hours max. Like 5 hours is a luxurious amount of time and usually not necessary. So like, yeah, we'll shoot like a whole entire series in like between like 3 to 5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Actually, I have a question myself. Do you have a group of stylists that you go to, or is there one person that you trust with your look?
Right now, I have one stylist who I'm obsessed with. His name is Ib Abdul Nasser. He's from Libya, and he's incredible. He's probably on here. I hope he is. But yeah.
Hi. Somebody's making a reference to your recent pasta post.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they want to know what you're doing for New Year's. I'm curious about that too.
So I've been invited to like a lot of things kind of all over the world right now. I don't know. I honestly think I might just stay in LA. I'm really in like house mode and like I'm not trying to party or anything because of the times we're in. So yeah, I think I'm just going to stay here in my house and chill.
And then another one from Kevin, and I think you touched on this a little bit. How do you find and choose the locations? Like, do they get sent to you, or do you ever see a location that you love that you think I have to shoot here? Is it some combination of the two?
It's tricky. I mean, I'm always kind of into like the French chateaus and like the Italian villas and like the grand like gardens, and I spend a lot of time on like Gigster and stuff, which is like location scouting apps, and I kind of just save the locations that catch my eye. And,
where was I Missed You shot? That looks like it's like the Alps or Italy or something.
Which one? Sorry.
I Miss You, the latest.
Oh, that was that's from the Amalfi. I was in Positano.
I was gonna say that looks like the Amalfi Coast.
Yeah, I was kind of just like reflecting on my time in Italy because I usually try and go to Italy every year, and this is the first year I haven't traveled. So I was just like in like a nostalgic hole, and so I wanted to just like kind of celebrate those moments of having that freedom that we took for granted, you know.
And how quickly did that print sell out for you?
Well, I kept it open for, I think, a couple of days. So I basically, my method is to not put a number on it until the end. And so I'll say it's open for 4 days. You have 4 days to get it. And after 4 days, it's never going to be available again.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now on to Lazy Cake. You just launched a line of sweatshirts and sweatpants called Lazy Cake. And on the podcast, we talk a little bit about it. You say that it was kind of your mission to redefine what it means to be lazy, and as sort of a way of celebrating this idea that we should give ourselves permission to rest. Can you talk a little bit about that, Sarah?
Yeah, so Lazy Cake was inspired. I came up with the idea over a year ago, so it's really fitting that I finally was able to launch it in the pandemic. But
it's incredible.
Something that I really struggled with was my ability to rest and give myself permission to do nothing. And whenever I tried to slow down, and I still struggle with this, I would feel like I'm doing something wrong just by like not working and not forcing myself to like, you know, finish like that task I had on my list or whatever. And so I wanted to, and it's something that I've been practicing for years, just giving myself permission to be lazy. Like, it is absolutely okay. I shouldn't feel shame or guilt around wanting to rest and wanting to just like put on a movie and eat like donuts or whatever. And, you know, it's taken years and years of work to just be able to just like sit with that and be able to really embody like nap culture and like resting and indulgence. And so I want to essentially, I created this brand because I want to be able to teach people like how I'm able to do it and not feel weird and not feel like I'm doing something wrong simply by wanting to just like pause. And so that's kind of how the brand was birthed.
Yeah, a lot of people felt that way. Let's go back for one quick second. Somebody was asking about the lighting for your work. How do you choose the lighting for your work?
It's natural. So I don't use like stage lighting or
ever
external lighting. Yeah, I
Good
always
to
just
know.
like base it on the sun or like a lamp nearby or.
Okay. Yeah. And Taylor wanted to know, how did you choose what subtitles to use for Lazy Cake? Can you talk about that, and can you name the ones that appear on the clothing?
Yeah, so at the moment I'm my own muse. Wine is the only one I can trust. I'm not available for the emotionally unavailable. Searching for sanity, and I always forget. Oh, I gave myself 3 orgasms and a pizza. So I chose them based on the things that really embody like the brand values of Lazy Cake, which is, you know, indulgence and rest and like feel like being able to empower yourself and use your what's inside of you and your internal magic as your muse. And so yeah, that's why I chose those 5. And also they all went viral, so I feel like they were very relatable to a lot of people, and so I wanted people to be able to like wear the things that they like love the most.
Yeah. Are you adding other styles to the line? That's from Beth. That's our last question from Beth.
At the moment we're doing just sweatsuits, but I think we've got shorts kind of like for next summer, and might do some tank tops and stuff, but I'm keeping it very minimal.
That's great. Thank you so much, Sarah. It was good to see you. Episode 59 is now live. You can download it, and thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.